Yeah, I think you can overreact to this stuff. It's funny that Roger would say that, Roger Daltrey, because to me he was a punk, and certainly Pete was a punk, in the early days, and that's what I regard as the real thing. To me, this punk revolution wasn't anything new. It was just a sort of rehash of what the Who had been doing, and I think the Who were very modest not to actually say that. Um, it didn't really. I mean, to me, maybe I live in my own world. I don't know. But Queen were touring the world at that point, and it didn't seem that important that the press were sort of talking about revolutions and stuff. It just didn't seem that big a thing to me. I mean, in retrospect, I think something was happening, but I think the musical stuff that was in there was more important than the so-called much vaunted social significance of it. The Malcolm McLaren thing, I just see as a manipulation. I don't see it as a genuine sociological movement. A lot of kids jumped on it, but it was manipulated. It was put on them. On the other hand, the Sex Pistols album, Never Mind the Bollocks, was fantastic. Brilliant album, and would have stood up alongside the Who's first efforts or Zeppelin's first efforts. Brilliant album. But it's a rock album. To me, I don't care about the word punk. It doesn't really mean much to you. Everybody kind of starts out as punk and they end up as something different. The Clash are a very good example. God bless them. Nothing wrong with that. You start off as a kid and you're fighting your way up, and then you're there and you just entertain. You realise in your humility, really, that what we are is entertainers. And in a sense, what you peddle is your own inner passion, your own inner anger, if you like. But there's a lot of other stuff that comes in, and to be a good entertainer, I think you have to go through this process of growing up. And luckily for us, we don't have to grow up too much. We can still be boys, but there's a balance comes in.